Hey guys, welcome to Sanctuary Church Online. I'm Noah, and I just want to say welcome. So we're diving into something that's kind of cool. It has something to do with salt, light, and change. And it's going to be a really neat deep dive. Of course, we got Pastor Dwayne, and he always digs deep. So it's going to be a fun journey. I think you guys are all going to really enjoy it, at least what I've heard of it. So we're going to enjoy this together. If you guys are joining us for the first time, we are a progressive, revolutionary church that believes that love wins. We're located over in Fort Lauderdale, so if you're in the area, swing by. We got really awesome music that doesn't go on the live stream, but it's going to be really cool in person. So join us and it's going to be an awesome event. If not, just join us online. It's awesome too. You guys have a wonderful service, and Pastor Dwayne.
Okay. Hey, this is Pastor Dwayne, Sanctuary Church. Thanks, Noah. That was really great, man. So I got a question for you today, because that's like one of the things that we do is we ask questions. And so I have a question. Is like, why? Why are we so afraid of change? Okay, so the question is, why are we so afraid of change? And I have to tell you, it's really pretty straightforward answer. We're afraid of change because we have to let go. You know what I'm saying? That we have to let go of stuff. You have to understand that we let go of some things pretty easily, like joy. We let go of joy pretty easy. It's like, joy, oh yeah, it's great. And then suddenly, we just let go of that. But, the things that we hold on to are like usually some of the things like are negative. We hold on to things, resentments and hurts, we hold on to resentments and hurts. It's like we can make a little home there, and we have a tea party, we're like, yeah, this is all my resentments and hurts, everything that I've been, and we hold on to that stuff for such a long time, and it just buries us. And as Christians, one of the things that we need to be is people of joy. That we're supposed to be people like filled with joy, like whatever these guys are doing, I want to be a part of this. I want to get involved in this. But churches have a tendency to do this. Not this church, of course, but other churches have a tendency to like, it's almost like the service is like this really down, negative thing. I love it. The American judge, Oliver Wendell Holmes, he once said that I would have probably entered the ministry. He said, except that the certain clergy that I knew, they acted so much like undertakers, I didn't want anything to do with it. I love it, that they acted like undertakers. They were just like so depressing. Robert Louis Stevenson, he once said, he entered in his diary, and he said, I recorded an extraordinary thing today, a phenomenon. See, I've been to church, and I'm not depressed. That's what happens, is that we miss what Jesus has taught us to do and what we're about. We have this kind of, somebody asked me not that long ago, they said, hey, Pastor Dwayne. I said, yeah. He said, why don't you wear a robe? And I'm going like, because it makes me so much different than you. It separates us, And I don't want separation. I want to be connected. This is a church and being connected to people. And the idea is like, yeah, man, I want to be connected to you. And I grew up in a church. So, it was like a big thing. And whenever I do, and I used to wear a robe or a collar, people treat you completely different. They treat completely different. I can go into a jail cell, and if I have a collar on, go ahead. That's not a problem. Go ahead. You can go in. I go in this, and they're like, okay, we're going to do a little search on you, bud. So it's like, when we are doing worship and Christian worship, it's supposed to be joyful. That's one of our phases, is that it should be something that is really, really beautiful. And again, Jesus is talking in this verse today in Matthew 5:13 through 20, Jesus is talking about this idea. He's talking again amongst all these people around him, and they're all like this mishmash of people from all different walks of life, people that believe in God and people that don't believe in God, and people that are just like, I just am here because I just wanted to see who this guy is who's healing everybody. And so he's talking to them, and some of the poorest, some of them are the most needy, people that are looking to be healed. And he walks and tells them, he says, you are the salt of the earth. You are the salt of the earth. But if you lose your saltiness, how can you be made salty again? You know, we're supposed to be the thing that gives flavor to the world. You know, we're supposed to be the people who give joy to the world. That you know, I don't know about you, but one of the worst things I ever ate, and I challenge you to go to the grocery store and get some unsalted potato chips. And I tell you, get a small bag, okay, because you will not eat 2 of them. You will put the first one in your mouth and you'll say, this is worse than cardboard. It has no flavor. It has nothing going for it. You're like, oh, this is horrible. And see, Jesus is saying, we are the salt of the earth. We are what give it flavor, what enhances it. And then he goes on to say that you are the light of the world. And that a town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand so the light can be seen from everybody in the house. See, we understand that the first thing God created was light. And light's not something you can see and go, there's light. It's that light allows you to see everything else. You get that? I mean, light allows you to see everything else. And so if we're the light of the world, and we're supposed to give flavor to the world, we're supposed to be different than the world. And I think probably part of the problem is that a lot of times I see Christians that look just like the rest of the people in the world. You know, they've lost their joy, man, but they are holding on to all those grudges and stuff. They're dragging them behind them, you know, like, I'm not letting go of this, And so if we're supposed to be this light of the world and we're supposed to be the salt of the earth, we should probably look different, right? And kind of act different. You know, we should be the ones that people walk into a church and go, I don't know what they're doing here, but I want some of it. I want whatever they got going on here, I want some of it. I've never seen people so They hug me. They hug me. They don't know me and they hug me. See, Jesus is talking about this idea that we are supposed to be something different than culture. And so when Matthew's writing this, there's a lot of stuff going on, lots of changes happening. And I believe that those changes are like what's going on now within the church, is that there's a tremendous amount of changes happening. A lot of new things going on. So let me give you kind of like the 60,000-foot view of what was going on when Jesus was saying this and what was going on when Matthew started writing this, because you start to understand the depth of what Jesus is saying to them. Now, Jesus is bringing change. He's bringing a tremendous amount of change. And in that change, he's bringing change theologically, socially. He's bringing change physically, that there is a God and God loves you. And this one God that created everything here loves you and is on your side. That's a big deal, man. That's a big deal. The idea that God is on your side. So this understanding of God that most people have, and I have a lot of people here that have been injured by this kind of Christian theology that hurt them deeply, that they were taught, you know, that God is just up there somewhere and just waiting for you to make a mistake. And as soon as God sees you make a mistake, God's going to punish you. I wouldn't do that because God's going to get you for it. And it's just the opposite. God is like saying, no, that's not going to be good for you. Let's go this direction. Let's go this way. That God loves you in this way and God wants you to illuminate God's love into the world. So Jesus is probably anywhere between 30, 33. His ministry goes on for only 3 years, man. Only 3 years. And then 33 years later, after Jesus is crucified and resurrects, there's a Jewish revolution. And this Jewish revolution happens between years of 66 and 73. In this Jewish revolution, Rome just destroys the temple. And you have to understand a little bit of the history of this is that the temple was the center of everything in the Jewish faith. The temple was everything. This is where God was. And again, Jesus came to change that understanding of that God is here, God is everywhere, God is within us. And so the Roman legion surrounds the city of Jerusalem and slowly squeezes the life out of the Jewish stronghold, slowly destroys it. And by the year 70, the attackers now have breached the walls, and the city is systematically ransacked. There's also conversation that it got so bad that the Roman army had secured off that either it was contemplated or it was actually done. But there was a point, there was no food to eat, and so the conversation was, well, who shall we eat? That's how bad it got. So this understanding was that thousands and thousands of Romans came in and destroyed, killed, took most of them people off to Egypt to mine. They butchered. They amused themselves by killing them in dramatic ways. And there was one group that actually rebelled and was able to get out of there. And probably somewhere around 73 AD, the final fall of this pocket, they were in the stronghold of Masada. And up there, they were finally, the wall was breached, and they decided that they would rather die at their own hands than to have the Romans kill them. And so as the story goes, that by the time the Romans got up there, everybody was already dead. So there was this incredible change, and people were struggling with the idea of what is Judaism now? What is it going to look like? Are we going to continue? Is Judaism dead? Is it going to die off? And so the teachings of Jesus, some 30 years before this, were teaching them to love and to care, that they were to be called back to their original, what they were supposed to be about, calling Israel back to being Israel, that they would show the love of God, that that's what their purpose was, to show the love of God. And so Matthew is writing this after the temple has been destroyed and talking about Jesus and what Jesus had called Israel, this idea of challenging them to be back, to illuminate God's love, to spread the light of God's love over the entire world. And to understand that God was up to something new. And this is big, because I think God is up to something new right today and right now. I think there are churches out there that, man, they would have never done a digital service. The only way they were brought in to do a digital service was because we had a pandemic and they had no other choice. Dragging, kicking, screaming to do digital services. To reach out online, social media. You know, when we started doing this service, it was amazing. We had people in Afghanistan, people all over the world watching this service. And we're going like, well, yeah, that's the whole beauty of doing a service like this, is that it has legs. You know, it'll continue going and going. That we can spread this incredible joy in the world. And I think as Christians, you know, we don't realize that joy can be spread from multitudes of ways. You know, I mean, I get a kick out of, okay. So the other day I'm sitting there, I'm talking to this guy, and I realize he's got orange sneakers on. Now, it's pretty wild. He's got orange sneakers. And when he puts his feet up, and I can see it, he's got green eggs and ham on the side of his orange sneakers. And I'm like loving it, man. I'm thinking this is great. He's got green eggs and ham, you know, and I'm thinking like, do I remember any of the lines from it that I can say something to him about it, you know? So I just turned to him and I said, hey, man, hey, what do you know about green eggs and ham? And he just laughed and laughed and laughed. Brought me joy. You know, I held on to that for probably 3 or 4 days. Just the joy of seeing that. The other day, I'm walking out in front of the church, and there's a guy walking on. I guess he's going to a party. I'm not sure what he was, but he had a mirrored suit on. He had a mirrored suit on. And I have to tell you, I saw myself in him. I know, you're thinking, was that a joke? Yeah, it was a really lame joke, but it was okay, you know? Like, I saw myself in him here. It was a mirrored suit. Yeah, okay. I'm telling you, I get joy from some of the simplest things. I get joy from seeing my granddaughter walk for the first time, and she's got that kind of Frankenstein walk, and she's like, she's on TikTok, and she's dung dung dung. I was like that. I rolled that thing back and forth 5 or 6 times in a row. That we get joy out of so many things, and we just need to learn how to hold on to it. That this joy of being here amongst people and listening to them sing and being with them, that this is a place of joy. That this is holy, and joy is holy. And to be able to illuminate that love and that to other people, that's holy. That's the idea that, you can say, there'll be a day that you're walking down the street and you maybe look at a thrift store and you see some orange sneakers with, green eggs and ham on them. And you go, yeah, man, are those my size? Let's try them on. Because we're supposed to be filled with joy, to be sparks in the world, and to enjoy life. This is what God has called us. And Jesus is saying, listen, you are the salt of the earth. You make things flavorful. You bring out the flavor in the world. And you are the illumination of God's love. And this love is a guide to other people. They're going like, I didn't know God loved me. And I have people all the time, they say things like, Pastor, you don't know my background. You don't know what I'm up against. You don't know what I've done. God doesn't love me. And it's like, no. God loves you. God loves you, man. Wherever and whatever God is more concerned with your future than your past. That God really wants to help your life get better. And so sometimes you end up with a thing that says, saying, God, okay, I'm going to let you guide me. I'm going to try to illuminate the love that I feel, that you feel for me. I'm going to try to turn off all the warning lights that I've been living by for such a long time, and I'm gonna just follow you. And suddenly you start seeing life changed around you, and you start saying, wait, this is good, because even when things happen and they're not the best things, I still have the joy. I still can bring it out. That I can deal with things that are hard because I know that I want to illuminate this joy, this love, this light of God. So I challenge you this week is to hold on to things that are joyful. Whatever. Okay. Don't judge me, please. Don't judge me. So I'm driving by the beach, and I see this guy standing down by the water. And he's got a bathing suit on that is really small, and it's striped. And he's got dress shoes on with black socks. And I'm thinking, I just want to know, what was the process tree of deciding to wear those things? Oh, and no shirt. And I love it. I'm going this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is great. I love it. I love him. I love his choice of clothes. I love that he's down at the beach, like getting ready to go to a business something or other. I don't know. But it brought me such joy. That that was so good. That was so good. I wanted to get out of my car and go down and like, what's your name? But I just love, it's the joy of seeing somebody and going, oh man, that is so cool. That is great. I had a guy the other day, he came down, he was at the church, and he's on a skateboard. And he's skating down the stairs of the church, and he's taking, boom, down the stairs. And he sees me come up. He knows I'm the pastor here, and he immediately like gets ready to bolt. And I'm going like, no. I want to see you do it again. Do it again, okay? Do it again. Come on. And he's like, really? I'm going, yeah, man, do it again. I want to see it. And so like he got his skateboard and he jumped, and like for 10 minutes we just talked about all the tricks that he was working on and the things he was going. And he was like, it was a joyful moment in my heart, And he was like, left the church, skating down the street with a big smile on his face, like somebody stopped him and said, hey, can you do that? Can you do this? Okay. So I ask you, illuminate God's love. Illuminate the joy that God brings to us every day. I wake up, I take a breath. I look out and I see the grass and the trees and the garden out back. I look and I see people's lives changing in front of me. This is the joy a Christian has. Peace and grace to you.
Hey guys, wow. Okay, so we got a little bit to unpack. So we have salt, light, and joy. Change.
Yep.
I think change is a well, we're going to talk about it, but I think it's going to be neat. So salt, we're the salt of the earth.
Yeah, that's what Jesus said.
I'm just like imagining that eating a potato, like not potato chip, but
right.
my brain goes potato, without any things like any like sour cream, the butter, any of the cheese, and just like taking it and like throwing it in the microwave and then pulling it out and going, which I mean,
you would not like it.
It's sustenance, but that's all. That's it.
But I'm telling you right now, a potato chip is worse because you expect a potato chip to have that salty
crunchy,
flavor.
flaky,
and you stick it in your mouth, and it's like it just kind of like dies on your tongue, and you just sit there and you're like, how do I even get it out of my mouth with that? But there's no flavor, nothing.
This has gone past the healthy vibe. It's now reached something that we don't like.
It is. It's really I guarantee you buy a small bag of potato chips without salt in it. First, you've wasted a little bit of money. Secondly, you'll be going like, oh, Pastor Dwayne's right, man, this is horrible.
So we need to be the flavor.
Flavor,
okay, I like that.
We put salt on something and it brings out flavors.
Exactly,
It's like, if we're that, well, that's a different idea of what church and God and Christians are supposed to do. I'm supposed to bring out the flavor in the world? Cool, let's do it.
Don't be an unflavored potato chip.
Right, it's
done.
And you start realizing that joy is something that you have to work on holding on to, because we're really good at holding on to negative stuff.
Here's my grudge, and I'm going to pet it and love it. And
it is,
it's going to follow me through the rest of my life and make the day horrible.
Right. And what happens is sometimes we even forget what those grudges are. Like in the book Romeo and Juliet, the Capulets and the Montagues, they don't even know why they're still angry at each other. Something happened a long time ago, and so they're still now fighting. And I think that's, as Christians, man, as Jesus followers, or however you want to label that, we're supposed to be joyful people, and celebrate that joy. So I think that those are really important things.
I think it's like a kind of a release. I thought of like this is an old movie. It's Cold Comfort Farm. They have like, I saw something nasty in the woodshed. You can Google it. She doesn't even remember what she
saw.
It was like just remember the bad and it just took everything down. And I think that's the same thing as, I mean, like somebody pulls out in front of you and when you're driving, that part probably didn't bother you much. It was all the other things that just combined from the first thing of you waking up and just having a bad morning. Sometimes it's like,
but I mean,
releasing that process.
You have kids. You have kids.
Yeah.
And I know that your kids sometimes are like, I mean, I've been at your house and you walk in and the energy level is like, whoa! It's like that, it's just this like
19 out of 10. Yeah.
But I know that you walk home and you go into your house and it's like, it's joyful because
it's very joyful. It's a little intense, but it's joyful.
But I mean, the kids are playing, they're laughing, oh, Dad's home, this is so cool. And like, do you hold on to that joy? Like seeing your daughter, Charlie, run up to you.
Oh, yeah.
And, just wrap herself around you. I mean, those joys are like, we need to hold on to that
those
stuff,
are those
man.
sparkles in time that you have to remember that, because there will be, there's something that I remember hearing back. Well, I don't even remember where I heard it from, but it's the happies need to be better than the crappies. And then sometimes you have to remember that those happies need to carry with you. They need to become your grudge. They need to be
your thing that's
when life gets you down, pull out your happy folder.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought, and let's end on this. But I just thought about a story. We were going to a soup kitchen, okay, and we had been there for the soup kitchen all day feeding people, and it's a real hole in the wall place. And this one guy comes up at the end of the day, and he says, he leans into the kitchen. He says, "Hey, can I say something to you?" And all the kitchen staff turn around. It's all of our people, and they say, "Yeah, what's up?" And he said, "Listen," he said, "I'm homeless," and he said, "When I go to sleep tonight, I will see your faces smiling at me." And he said, "And I will be able to go to sleep knowing that I was cared about." And I loved it, man. There wasn't a dry
Every one of the kids that were in that was in the youth program.
It was a youth program,
we were over there. I remember that. Gosh, that was, those are those moments that you like.
But what ended up happening that was like so crazy was that one girl went outside and one woman was complaining about the food or something like that. And she was just angry about the world, angry about everything.
Yeah.
And so when we went back to church and we were telling people about the stories, this one girl, all she kept doing is bringing up that one. Oh, but there was that one woman and she was angry. And I'm going like, let go of it.
Yeah.
Let go. How many people came in and thanked you? How many people said, "This is great. I really enjoy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for feeding us." Thank you. Don't hold on to the negative, and that's like really important. So if I can leave you with anything today, is that you don't hold on to the negative. Hold on to the joy, and hold on to the light that you can illuminate God's love into the world.
Absolutely.
Good?
Yeah, definitely. Hey guys, don't forget, if this meant something to you, it probably will mean something to somebody else as well. And press that share button. Share it to your own channel, and let this story grow legs, because I think there's a lot of people, especially in today's world, there's so much, I think, hopelessness that's out there. I mean, doubt and despair. Who knows what's going to happen the next day? Is COVID going to come back out? Maybe. I mean, there's so many things that we are so just like worried about, and people need to be reminded of hope and joy. If this thing meant something to you and you want to hear more messages about this, click that little bell on the bottom. You'll be notified every time we go live. And we try to share hopeful messages in a troubled world.
God is up to something. He's bringing more hope.
Yeah,
more hope.
It's going to be awesome.
Man. Take care.
We'll see you guys next
Peace.
week.